Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 25th. Here's what we're working on today. The LCBO is extending its store hours this week ahead of a potential strike.
Heartbreak for Oilers fans. It's the Florida Panthers and the franchise's first ever Stanley Cup.
And Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan back on set together. A lot of tired hockey fans this morning. Did you stay up all night to watch the game?
Okay, so I didn't stay. It was on, and then I was like falling back to sleep and then waking up. So I did wake up to see the end of the game, which was just after 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
so yeah,
okay.
didn't get too much sleep, and yeah, a bit of a heartbreak, and we'll get all into that coming up in the news and sports. But what do you got going on, Brian? Morning.
I got a little bit of instability starting to push in.
Okay.
That could bring us a shower or a thunderstorm a little later on, but we will see some sunshine. The sun is up. The sky is fairly clear at the moment, so enjoy the sun that we have. Temperature 14, so a touch cooler actually than it was yesterday morning. Yesterday we got to about 26. Today we're going to climb to 24, but a humidex of 29 for the day. Showers, possible thunderstorms for later on this afternoon into the overnight hours, and then chance of showers for the day tomorrow. So a couple of unsettled days before we get right back into some sunshine toward the end of the week, and we'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. Checking traffic this morning. Nothing to see. We have no collisions at the moment. 403 Waterdown Road looks pretty good at the moment, so no problems there. To the camera that I was going to show you with a collision, and the collision just cleared, and actually the volume is fairly light, so there wasn't too much of a backlog, but it was on the 403, just making the bend as you head up toward the 401. That's the Eastgate Parkway camera. Grays Road, Stony Creek looks good. Let's flip ahead to the Skyway Bridge. Look at the sunshine, looking nice, no problems on the roads at the moment. So weather and traffic coming up for you. We'll check that in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Well, the Florida Panthers are this year's Stanley Cup champions.
For the first time in their history, the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, they beat the Edmonton Oilers last night in Sunrise, Florida, in Game 7 of the Cup final to claim their first ever Cup. They avoided being the second team in NHL history to blow a 3-0 series lead in the Cup final, holding off Connor McDavid and the Oilers 2-1 the final. Plenty of local content, too, of guys lifting the cup, and I'll be getting into that. It's upcoming in Sportsline.
Well, the LCBO is extending its hours ahead of a potential strike a week from Friday. Simone Gavros is standing outside the LCBO in Waterdown now with more.
Hi, good morning, Annette. Well, starting Thursday, all stores across the province are going to be opening at 9:30, and the closing times are going to vary depending on each location, but a lot of them will be closing around 10 p.m. to give shoppers some more time to stock up on items. Now, this is going to go, these extended hours will be until July 4th, which will be a week. That's a day before the union will be in a legal strike position as of 12:01 on July 5th. Now, there has never been a strike in the LCBO's history, and negotiations are currently ongoing between the union, OPSU, and the LCBO. Workers are looking for wage increases and more full-time jobs. Concerns are also lingering about possible job losses once alcohol is allowed to be sold in grocery stores and convenience stores as early as this August. The LCBO says they want to avoid a strike, but have plans in place to ensure customer service continues if strike action does happen. Now, in the meantime, customers are encouraged to shop early and stock up. Now, although these regular hours are going to be extended for a week, the LCBO says that they will be closed on July 1st for Canada Day. But for now, I'll send things back over to you, Tim.
All right, thanks, Mo. Starting August the 1st, Ontarians can buy beer, wine, and other alcohol at participating convenience, grocery, and big box stores. However, no-name brand wine, they will not be available in grocery stores yet, but the provincial government says that could change. The Ford government says the sale of private label alcohol in grocery and convenience stores will be prohibited until at least 2026. But they did say they are consulting on the matter. Now, Ontario wineries say the private brands, they are not good for business.
This particular issue around private label brands can be potentially very risky for small and medium-sized VQA, 100% Ontario grape users and producers. It can be very, very problematic for us because, frankly, many of us can't produce large volumes that the private label winery or grocers would be looking to supply, and it would be probably lower prices than we can afford to grow them here in Ontario.
A 14-year-old boy has been charged after a mass shooting in Etobicoke earlier this month. 2 men were killed, 3 others were wounded. The boy has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 7 of attempted murder. Police say the night of June 2nd, 2 people got out of a vehicle in a high school parking lot and opened fire on a group of 9 men sitting around after a weekend soccer game. Police say at least 2 people were involved in the shooting, and there could be others.
Well, hate crimes are rising in Toronto, with police, that is, responding to an average of 5 hate crime calls a day. Toronto's deputy police chief says the number of hate-motivated incidents have increased nearly 55% from last year, and most of them this year have been anti-Semitic. Toronto police have made more than 100 hate crime arrests and laid nearly 270 charges since the start of the Israel-Hamas war last October.
The votes are slowly being counted in a federal by-election in Toronto. Since last night, the polls have been split between Liberal candidate Leslie Smith and Conservative candidate Don Stewart, with each appearing to lead at different times. Now, the count is taking a while because there are 84 names on the ballot, and those ballots were about a meter long. The by-election was called after the resignation of former Liberal cabinet minister Carolyn Bennett.
Well, Metrolinx has expanded Go Bus and Go Train service for one of the world's largest Pride events, the Toronto Pride Parade. It's this Sunday, June the 30th. So this double-decker Pride Go Bus will be in the parade along with Metrolinx employees. If you're headed to Toronto Pride, there will be a special train service on the Milton line with increased hours and added trains.
2 major streets in Hamilton are going to be reduced to a single lane until this winter. The partial closure of Cannon Street and York Boulevard is part of a 2-year project to improve transportation routes. New bike lanes are going to be added, raised bus landings installed, and accessible sidewalks will be built. To carry all this work out, the City of Hamilton says the lane reductions, which will start July the 8th, are necessary. Construction is going to stop for the winter, pick up again in spring. The city hopes to be finished the project by next August. Princess Anne will not be coming to Canada after all this weekend. Buckingham Palace says she's still recovering from a head injury believed to have been caused by a horse's head or legs. It happened while she was walking at her country home. Princess Anne was supposed to be in Newfoundland on Sunday to help mark the 100th anniversary of the National War Memorial in St. John's. Described as the hardest working royal, Anne has taken on several more engagements as her brother King Charles is treated for cancer.
Oh, well, let's get back to our top story, which comes to us in sports today, because the final game of the NHL season went down last night from Sunrise, Florida. And not only was it Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, but history could be made if Edmonton was able to come back and beat the Panthers, as only the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs had come back from 3-0 down to complete the comeback in the Cup final. But the Panthers, they got on the board first, and it was Waterdown's Carter Verhaeghe scoring for the first time since Game 1 of the final. Beautiful tip in right there, his 11th of the playoffs to put the Panthers up early, beating Stuart Skinner. Didn't last long though, as the Oilers would tie it shortly after. Matthias Janmark sent in all alone on Sergei Bobrovsky. He would tie it at 1. Fast forward to late in the second when Sam Reinhart would put the Panthers up for good with his 10th of the playoffs. And despite some desperation from the Oilers throughout the final frame to try and tie it, they were unable to beat Bob the goalie and let the celebrations begin.
3 seconds to go. The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
Jubilation for the Panthers, who came into the league 30 years ago and lost to Vegas, remember, in the Cup final last year. Head coach Paul Maurice winning his first Cup behind the bench after a 30-year coaching career. Disappointment this year, though, for Connor McDavid and his Edmonton Oilers, who were unable to complete the comeback and mission and make some history. McDavid, though, was only the 6th player in Cup final history to be awarded the Conn Smythe Award for playoff MVP, despite his team not winning. Here's his parents reacting to them hearing that right there. There's the Conn Smythe handed out by Gary Bettman. Then comes the moment any fan awaits, even if your team isn't winning the cup, is when the commish hands over that cup. Brought out by Phil Pritchard there on the right from Burlington. Handed it to Sasha Barkov, the first Finnish captain to ever lift the cup, and had his moment before passing it around to the rest of the team, which includes Brandon Montour from Six Nations and Waterdown's Carter Verhaeghe, who won his second cup. Who's going to be coming to the area this summer. We'll hear from them coming up a little bit later this morning. But yeah, Florida Panthers, your 2024 Stanley Cup champs.
The Red Sox threatening to walk it off. Into right field, a base hit. Charging Springer. Runner coming home. Throw to the plate, not in time.
Yeah, just when you thought things couldn't get any worse for your Toronto Blue Jays, that happened last night in Boston. Jays blew a 6-2 lead, allowing the Red Sox to score 5 runs in the final 2 innings, culminated by that walk-off by Jarren Duran to hand Toronto a heartbreaking 7-6 loss, which was their 7th straight. Vladdy Guerrero Jr., he had a monster 3-1 homer. That was all for naught. They try and halt the bleeding tonight. What about the Raptors? Well, they had a horrible 2024 season as well, and they look ahead to the NBA draft happening tomorrow night, and they have locked up their all-star. Forward Scotty Barnes has agreed to a 5-year contract extension that could be worth, get this, $270 million. That's a lot of moolah. And a maximum deal allowed under league rules. The 22-year-old signs the largest deal in Raptors history after completing his 3rd NBA season, averaging 20 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And some good news for local golf fans, as Hamilton's Elena Sharp on the left, along with Smith Falls native Brooke Henderson on the right, will represent our country at the upcoming Olympics in Paris. Both have plenty of international experience, with Elena and Brooke headed to their 3rd Summer Games. Pair qualified based on their official world golf rankings, with Henderson at 14th and Sharp sitting at 292nd.
6:12 already, 25th morning of June, and we've got a nice sunny start. Well, we're getting a bit more cloud cover at the moment. We'll talk about that coming up. But first of all, let's look at traffic. Traffic is getting a little bit busier here. 403 and Waterdown Road. I mean, it's still moving okay, but busier Toronto bound coming towards us. Let's show you a few MTO traffic cameras. And as usual, we start in St. Catharines and then come around the Horseshoe. Look at the sunshine here. The QEW just east of Lake. No problems in St. Catharines. Nothing at Grays Road, Stony Creek. We are all of a sudden getting busy here, and this is coming off the Skyway Bridge. This is the Fairview camera, so you're heading toward Brant Street, and then you make that bend at Brant Street to head right into the sunshine, and that backs everybody off. The QEW Ford plant, that's wide open as usual, and here, Ontario, not a lot to see so far today, so take it carefully, please. Our temperature was 14 degrees. Now we've popped up to 15 this hour. So that's brought the relative humidity down to a 99%, still high. Light winds, but a mostly cloudy sky. When I came in this morning, the sky was perfectly clear, but we're getting a little bit more cloud cover now, and we'll see that generally continue throughout the morning. We'll have a mostly cloudy sky later on with chance of a shower or a thunderstorm. So yeah, one of the last few days of school, we're getting there. 24 today, humidex of about 29. We have a low pressure system approaching us. It's going to drop a trough of low pressure across us, bring us that chance of instability today, tonight, and still lingering with a shower for the day tomorrow as another low pressure system goes by us. But then look at that ridge of high. That's some good news as we head toward the weekend. So today, 23 to 26 degrees. With that sunshine to start, and then that chance of showers, thunderstorms possible for later on today. Even into tonight, temperatures will fall to 16, 17 to 18, but 20 degrees for Niagara, a little bit milder there. And then tomorrow, temperatures, well, about 24 degrees generally, and we are looking at a mainly cloudy sky with chance of a shower, a little bit cooler away from Lake Ontario, 22 degrees. So as you're stepping out the door, 25th of June already, we're looking at a mainly cloudy sky, temperature right now sitting at 15. And we'll check long range, of course, coming up. And that, Tim.
Okay, coming up after the break, changes to the capital gains tax come into effect today. We'll have details on that. 6:16 on your Tuesday morning. In overseas trading, the Canadian dollar is up 9 basis points to 73.28 cents U.S. Gold is down nearly $2.50. Crude fell 26 cents. Trading overseas right now at $81.37 a barrel. Checking midday trading in Europe, markets down in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Off to Asia we go. Markets are up in Tokyo and Hong Kong, but down slightly in Shanghai. What about North American markets kicking off the trading week? Nice gains for both the TSX and the Dow Jones on Monday trading. Up triple digits, almost 300-point gain for the TSX. Some losses for the NASDAQ. Let's see how they do on this Tuesday, June the 25th, when markets open.
Well, the federal government's changes to capital gains taxation came into effect today, despite significant pushback from business and from doctors' groups. Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland's spring budget proposed making 2/3 of the profit made on the sale of assets taxable, up from 1/2. For individuals' capital gains of $250,000 or less, the inclusion rate would remain at 50%. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had pitched the effective tax increase as a way to deliver generational fairness. The government says the revenue it raises will help pay for housing and other priorities for younger people.
Stats Canada is set to publish its May Consumer Price Index reports a little bit later this morning. Economists are expecting inflation slowed slightly last month, which would be another good sign for the Bank of Canada. Encouraged by the slowdown in inflation, the central bank earlier this month did cut its key interest rate by 1/4 point. It's sitting at 4.75%. Canada's annual inflation rate in April was 2.7%. Economists say May and June inflation data will play a key role in the central bank's next interest rate decision scheduled for late July.
StatsCan says the next 50 years could see Canada's population reach 63 million. The agency says the number of people over 85, though, could triple by 2073, while the percentage of children between the ages of newborns and 14 in the overall population is declining. It predicts natural growth will only play a marginal role as Canada's population ages and fertility rates remain low. It says migration will drive the population increase.
Car dealerships across North America, they're struggling with disruptions after back-to-back cyber attacks. The attacks last week, it led to an outage at CDK Global, which provides software for thousands of auto dealers in Canada and the U.S. Prospective car buyers, they are facing delays at dealerships, and there's no immediate end in sight. Now, CDK says it could take several days before everything is restored.
Google is updating its shopping tools just in time for summer sales and for Amazon's Prime Day. Prime Day typically happens after July 4th, but the exact date hasn't been announced yet. Google's new features are designed to help you find the best deals and the lowest prices. Those tools include an updated deals destination when you search your shop deals. A carousel will show deals from a number of retailers, including comparative pricing. Another tool is membership pricing, showing both the standard price and any loyalty program discounts. You can also track price drops and see past price trends.
Canada's e-commerce giant, Shopify, is increasing the use of AI in its platforms. So Shopify says artificial intelligence will suggest personalized responses merchants can use to reply to customer emails, and then will come up when merchants are looking to categorize their products. So these new features are part of the company's semi-annual product showcase, Shopify Editions, which includes 150 new offerings.
Taking a quick break right now. Brian's going to be back with your traffic in your 7-day forecast.
Way we go into this Tuesday morning, 25th of June. Look at the sunshine we have through St. Catharines. QEW and 7th. That's the MTO traffic camera. And there's no problems in St. Catharines at all. Starting to get pretty busy at top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge. Toronto bound coming towards us. So we're on the Hamilton side on this particular shot. Bronte Road, no problems there. Lorne Park's getting busy as you head toward Mississauga Road. And here's the 403 west of Mavis. Not much happening through the 403. We did have an earlier problem at Eastgate Parkway. way, but that is now gone. Check the temperature that we have at the moment, sitting at 15 degrees for Hamilton. We have a light breeze this morning. Relative humidity is up there at 99%. The sky right now is mostly cloudy. It was clear throughout the overnight hours, but we've got more cloud cover rolling in. So those are our seasonal temperatures. 25 for the daytime high. We got to 26 yesterday, and 14 for the overnight low. Records and sun times for the day today. And there's that instability for the day. Should be no problems for going into school. Sunny and 21, a little bit of cloud cover. And then 23 for after school. We'll hit that forecast high of 24, but 23 for after school begins that chance of a shower or a thunderstorm rolling through us. So, yep, that's the high for the day, 24, feeling like about 29. 17 tonight, we could get a shower thunderstorm, not only in the evening, but overnight as well. Tomorrow, 24, same temperature, a touch less humidity. It should feel like about 27, but there is a chance of a shower later in the afternoon. Look at the days on Thursday and Friday. 22 and 25, sunny. Now, don't worry, Saturday there's a little instability as we kick off our long Canada Day weekend. 27, chance of showers. But look at Sunday and Monday. Beautiful, sunny, and 23. That's your forecast. Annette, Tim.
Okay, we just have an update of a story here. The Conservative candidate has overtaken his Liberal rival and clinched a federal by-election in a long-held Liberal riding in Toronto. So Don Stewart moved ahead of Liberal Leslie Church in Toronto-St. Paul's riding as the ballots from the final four polls were counted. He won by 590 votes. The Midtown riding had been considered a safe seat for the Liberals for more than 30 years. More on that coming up.
Okay, because that's a big story. We were talking about that yesterday, seeing that this happened. And it did. Okay, so we'll follow that. Let's lighten the mood before we get to the bottom of the hour, because puffer fish is a luxury in Japan, costing up to like $125 at high-end restaurants. But foodies in the country can now get a taste for a fraction of the price from a cup of noodle.
Japanese instant noodle giant Nissan Foods released the new potentially poisonous delicacy in a cup noodle. Sells for about $2 US. Each cup comes with dried chicken meatballs, spring onions, and Japanese-style shredded egg in a soup base. Consuming improperly prepared pufferfish can be deadly because of its potent toxin. Chefs in Japan have to train for at least 2 years before they're allowed to take an exam to qualify to prepare it. Yeah, no thanks.
Sorry. I was like, that kind of looks good. And then I was like, excuse me?
No. No.
What was that? Yeah. I do like noodles, though. I could go for some noodles. Okay, 1.5 hour down. We got a busy morning, don't we?
We do.
Lots going on. Okay, we'll see you right after the break on this Tuesday, June the 25th.